Hey guys, welcome to my third After Effects video tutorial translation. Today we will create this. This is actually rendered in a really bad video quality, but no matter, we will do it better. For this effect we'll need the full version of After Effects, because we need two plugins who are only included in the full version of After Effects, which are CC Particle World and CCBallAction. So if you have any trial versions or something, look if you have them, and if not, sorry. Okay, so let's start. Good news, I finally managed to change my interface language to English, so you will understand anything now. Maybe I'll have some problems, but I'll try it. So okay, we'll start like every time, create a new composition, call it particle intro. I'll choose again the full HD preset. If you don't need such high resolutions, 720p or something, you can use this as well. It will render faster and be also faster in editing. So I'll apply it and create a new layer, new solid, call it background, and give it a black color. And create a new effect, generate ramp, change the color to the beginning color to dark blue with really dark blue, something like this, and the end color to black. Okay, then we'll change the ramp shape to radial, and make sure you've selected this effect, and then adjust this to get something like, oh, that was wrong, press Ctrl Z to undo it, just to get a nice nice background. Maybe that. It's not important how it's positioned, just how you like it. Okay, so next we'll create a new layer for some background particles. So new solid, and call it background particles, and create an effect generate simulation CC Particle World. So now we will go to the effect settings, grid and guides, and uncheck all these orientation boxes. We don't need them. These are just like these interface elements for you to orientate, but we don't need them. Next we'll go to physics, animation explosive, set the velocity to 0, just click on it and click 0, and the gravity to slightly minus, maybe slightly 0.05. Yeah, that will do the job. So the particles go slightly up, like they are going to water or whatever. Next we'll go to particle settings. Particle type is faded sphere. This is actually a really useful type of particles. You can use it for whatever, for smoke and everything you might imagine. Next, producer, which is the point where the particles are coming from. We'll adjust this so it covers the whole screen, so radius x, maybe go a bit forward in time so we can see more particles. Radius x, maybe this. So, and radius z is also important in 2D animations for reality, because it creates some depth in the scene, so which looks better. Okay, and now we'll go set the birth rate down, maybe to 1.2, and the longevity a bit up, so about 2.5 seconds. I pressed 0 to pre-render it. Okay. Next we'll change the size, the particle size, to there are no important settings, just try what you like best. I'll choose maybe this 0.08 and 0.09, maybe a bit more. Okay, and the colors, beginning color light blue, and the death color really dark blue, something like that. Okay. I think I'm missing a 0 in the gravity. It's really fast, so I will go back to physics, and set gravity to -0.00. So they're going really slow. Okay. Yeah, I think that will do the job. Okay, next step, we want our particles to appear just in the blue area and not in the black. So for this we'll take a background layer and duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D and rename it background mask. Okay, and drag it over our particle layer. And then we'll go up here to the ramp settings and set the start color to white. Okay, next we'll right click here, press columns and modes. If this column is already visible in your interface, you don't have to do this. And we will change this one, and change the setting track matte to Luma matte, which effect is clearly visible, pre-rendered by pressing 0. Yeah, there are slightly moving blue particles. Okay, so this is the background. Next step, the most interesting step, the text animation. Okay, so to animate our text we need text, so we'll go up here to the text tool, click into our composition and type our text. In my case, again, Frinksify, my channel name, which is actually pretty small, so I'll select it and choose my font size, it up. Okay, and then I'll take the selection tool and upscale it, so this will work. Again, you can use any font and any font color and any font size you want, absolutely no problem. So now the interesting part, the plugin. So make sure you have the text layer selected, go to Effect, Simulation. I was messing this up, Generate and Simulation. So Simulation, CCBallAction, and you see instantly I've zoomed in with the mouse wheel, has changed, your text has changed to many small balls, which can be scattered I don't know how to pronounce scatter or shatter. Just please write a comment. You can, you see, make it move with this option. So we'll go to 0 back and go to grid spacing and give this I'll give it a 1, you can give it a 2. Grid spacing changes how many particles you have. So if you have a lower amount of grid spacing, your text will be displayed more clearly, but you'll have more rendering effort. So I will choose 1 because I want really clear text. Okay, so now we want to let the balls come in and form the text, so we'll go to about, I don't know, 4 seconds and set a keyframe to scatter 0 because we want the text there to be fully completed, and then we'll go back to maybe 1 second and adjust the scatter size to a high amount, maybe 100, 160 something, maybe more, 200. Okay, and then we can press 0 to preview this. Okay, I think this is a bit fast, so I'll press U on the keyboard to display my keyframes. These both are the keyframes, and I want to adjust it, so I'll want this to begin slightly later and then adjust the other keyframe a bit after, maybe to 7 seconds. Preview that, 0. Okay, that looks okay. Maybe a bit slow. So 2 seconds, 6 seconds will do it. Yeah, well, that's okay. So our next problem is, if the animation is finished and our text is there, if we zoom in a bit, you'll see that it's clearly visible that it contains these balls, and we want to make our text appear more solid. So for this, we'll just zoom in a bit with these things. I actually don't know the word for it. There's sure a more cool way to do it, but I prefer to do it this way so your overview stays. We'll go to our animation finished keyframe, this one, and go some frames forward, like 2 frames forward, and set grid spacing. Make sure you've chosen this keyframe and go 2 frames forward and set grid spacing to 0. So the text appears more solid. Technically they're also balls, but they're so small so you can't see it. So if we play this, the problem is it's clearly visible that the text is changing something, so we want to hide that. For this we'll choose our text layer and add a glow effect, stylize, glow, adjust it a bit, threshold a bit down, radius to maybe 20, and a bit more intensity. Go to the keyframe where the grid spacing change starts, and set a keyframe to intensity and radius, and go forward maybe 4 or 5 frames and set them both to 0, and then go maybe 2 frames in front of it and set them also to 0, so the text will not glow the whole time, but only these some frames. So text glows and the grid spacing changes and it stops to glow and everything is fine. So let's just zoom out here and continue. So now we have a problem. If we're looking at our text, we'll see that if it's not glowing, it looks gray. So why does this look gray? The CCBallAction plugin replaced the text with balls, obviously, and between the balls there are small spaces who are a darker color, and this makes this white a gray. So what can we do against it? First we can adjust the glow. It's not against this, but I just wanted to adjust the glow, make sure that your playhead is directly over the keyframe, and then I'll adjust the glow to a real glow, a bit more radius, and then let it glow. Yay. Okay. Next we'll choose our text layer and effect, I think generate and fill it with a clean white. So the text looks clean white, and also the particles got a slight glow effect, which also looks really cool. So next problem, if the animation beginning is before it, they're just standing in the air and do nothing, so we want to fade them in. So we'll go to the beginning of the animation, choose this and choose the text layer, and set keyframe. Let me see where it is. I don't see it. Why do I don't see it? Here, transform. So I'll not cut out all these bloopers. Maybe you'll have the same problem, and then you'll see that it's also no problem. Just try again. So we'll set a keyframe to opacity at 0%. Then go forward just a bit and set our keyframe to 100%. So they will fade in. I'll adjust it a bit. If you can't see the keyframes, press U on the keyboard and then they will appear. So this looks okay. If we want to fade out the text, we'll set a new keyframe by pressing this. So in this area the opacity stays at 100%, and then we'll go forward, can fade out slowly and set it to 0%. Okay. So I just discovered that my composition is too long, so I'll go to composition settings, duration, and set it to 15 seconds, which is completely okay, and there we go. So next thing, we want to apply this cool lens flare effect to make the glow look better. So we'll create a new layer, new solid, and call it lens flare, and add a lens flare effect, generate, and it's called beam. No, it's not called beam. So effect, generate, lens flare. It's called lens flare. Who would have thought? So okay, and then we'll apply color correction, effect, color correction, and curves. Go to red and take the red out and go to blue and give it more blue. So we'll got a blue lens flare. Then we'll set the mode to add. If you can't see the mode, press F4 to make it visible. So adjust it that it looks ambient, something like that. And then lens type maybe 35 millimeters. It's just, whoa, what do you like? So we'll go forward where the text is completed, there, and set the lens flare here, adjust the brightness to really bright, maybe 160%, and set keyframe to brightness and center, and then we'll go some frames forward. You can use page up and page down on the keyboard. So I'll use page down at 1, 2, 3 frames and go with brightness back to 100, and a bit later I'll go to 0. So I forgot the beginning keyframe, so I'll choose this one, go some frames back and set it again to 100. Okay. Again, you can fine-tune all these settings for this tutorial. I'll not do it, but you can change basically anything you want, the lens type and some animations and whatever. Okay, and last thing, we want to animate the position of our lens flare. So we'll choose lens flare effect, keyframe at frame center is set, then we'll go forward to at the beginning and drag it out. So if we play it, the lens flare comes in, which looks pretty nice. Okay, then we can also animate the opacity of it if we want. So we'll go here, choose transform opacity, go to 0%, set a keyframe, go forward to maybe 4 or 5 seconds and set a keyframe to 100%. So it also fades slightly in. Maybe a bit, just it a bit more so it fades slightly. Okay, and there we go. That's it. That's our animation. You can do basically the same thing with more words. I can't spell the TH anymore. With more words to get maybe a sentence or a message displayed, but it's all the same thing. So next we'll render it, file, export, not rendering list but render cur. Okay, all my on the fly translations were wrong till completely wrong. So sorry. I translated lossless correct. Okay, so like every time the warning, don't use lossless, don't use it. My computer actually is really slow. Come on. Lossless, choose for YouTube, H264. Click OK, set where you want the output location and then render it. So I'll choose my project folder, particle intro. Okay, so that was my third tutorial. Please comment, rate, share, subscribe, whatever you like. I would appreciate it, and it will motivate me to do more tutorials and translations. Yeah, hope it helped. Should I wait till it rendered completely? No, I will not. Okay, bye.